I used to be a police officer, so I worked in community policing first, working with young people a lot, and then I worked in investigations, and part of that was training new people to interview. So yeah, those are the parts that I really enjoyed, and I wanted to be able to do that all the time, and also actually use my English degree in a job, so going to teaching English just made sense. So I saw Brighton, I thought the campus looks lovely, the course sounds great, also the employability of something like everyone on the English course got a job, and I just thought, well, I've got to study there. So the course is split between time at university and then most of the time you're at school.
A general day at uni when you're not in school very much started in the lecture theatre, so all the PGCE routes would gather together in the lecture theatre. We would have somebody in a specific field come in and talk to us, or somebody from the uni, and then from there we went into our subject-specific groups and discussed and reflected upon what it is we'd learn in the lecture that morning.
We would be taught a lesson as if we're secondary school pupils, but our course tutor adapted it so it made sense for us. For example, when we were learning to teach Shakespeare, she gave us an extract from a play that we would find challenging. So then as, graduates, we have to think back to what strategies are we using to try to understand that text. So putting yourself in the mind of a pupil.
We learned how to teach Shakespeare, but also how to add drama into your teaching, and so that was an area for me where I had the most anxiety about teaching, because Shakespeare I think is quite scary. But actually Anne went through it all with us. She's put slides together and copious resources so that if we did ever have a time where we were a bit worried about it or something came up that we weren't sure about, she'd already covered it.
It's also encouraged me to explore things that I didn't really experience at university, for example drama, and it's one of the things I've enjoyed teaching the most. Romeo and Juliet and Inspector Calls, it's just such a great way to get kids engaged with a text and for some of them stepping out their comfort zones.
If I was unsure of any topics throughout PGCE, I've used the Curriculum Centre to help further my understanding and my knowledge. It's also helped me in creating more engaging and quite fun tasks.
If someone, is late and will be made to wait outside, so, those moments I really remember, but also helps you get into that persona of how does a secondary school teacher behave. You'll feel by the time you get onto your first placement that you've had this information overload, like you've got so many ideas about things you want to try out, and actually it's a relief then to be in a school, see real teachers teaching and then do it yourself.
On my first day of placement I felt equal parts anxious but excited. Everybody on my placement made me feel really welcome. I instantly didn't feel like a burden. Everybody made me feel like part of the team. So my experience of placement 1 and placement 2 has been nothing but brilliant. I had a great relationship with my mentor on first placement. She was so positive and enthusiastic all the time, and she was great at giving me really concise feedback, just literally one thing at a time I could work on, and we'd have discussions which would really help me think about how I'm delivering my lessons, and would do things like marking together as well. Marking is really difficult. I think the first time you approach that, to actually sit down for a whole hour with your mentor doing some marking together is a really useful experience. If there has been a time where I felt I needed to branch out or ask anyone, I never felt nervous or worried to ask any member of staff at university or at the schools I was placed in. When things ramped up in regards to our university workload and submissions, all of the tutors and anybody who worked here was happy to drop whatever they were doing and help to support you through. I've been given the opportunity to run a small intervention group, so there's a literacy programme that the school are running, and I've been asked to look after a few groups a week. I've just received my timetable through, so I'm teaching Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 classes, and I'll be following the scheme of work that my Placement 1 had and delivering that across the year.
I've got a job that I'm starting the week after next. I'm really enthusiastic about starting it. I think one of the best things about teaching is you can find a school that's really aligned with the values and ethos that you have.
I've really enjoyed my experience here. It feels like a university, but also you don't feel like a student. You feel like you're coming into work. It's a nice place to be, the atmosphere is nice, it's really modern, there's facilities that I haven't had access to before. I've really enjoyed the time.